timekeeper, it's important to fix this right. I did not want to intervene anything in your time. You invited me to read. You invited me to translate. This is exactly
That was it. No, you weren't doing that. You were not doing that, Mansur.
Right on my time. So now, you made a claim that I have not translated. No.
No. It's your turn now. You made your point. You made your point.
We are not talking.
You made your point. Just go on, sir. Sir, just go on. It is your turn. Just go on.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So now, this game is over. I am not going to keep on demonstrating my Arabic skills, as I've demonstrated already. This vowel-less reading, I was able to read and translate. Those who are listening, the Arabic speaker, immediately recognize that is the actual translation. You said it's not. It's upon you to establish where my translation is faulty. Now, what I want to now ask Hatun is this. We want to move forward this debate. I want 3 examples of differences between Hafs reading within them, 3 examples of difference between the Warsh readings, and I would like you to tell me that they are different. Instead of showing me orthographical differences, show me the differences between them. Unless you show me there is a different verse, 1 verse more, 1 verse less, 1 chapter more, 1 chapter less, or difference of surah order, then you will be said to be miserably failing to provide more than 1 Qur'an. Because my criteria of you establishing more than 1 Qur'an is a Qur'an that has more or less surahs, a Qur'an that has more or less ayats. But in my Islamic teaching, the words can be recited differently. That's why I'm not asking you to provide different words, because we accept the Prophet taught certain words even with synonyms differences. So provide us with what you are asked to provide, rather than a textual variant. No, we already said Quran is a multi-form text. The Prophet ﷺ taught us this. If you can't get this in your understanding, what can I say? You have to deal with our tradition, our understanding of what Quran is. Our Quran is a multi-form recitation. You have to acknowledge that. I am not asking you to do something which is what we don't believe in. You keep on talking about how the Prophet ﷺ didn't teach. No. I want you to now turn to examples that you say provides evidence that there are more than 1 Qur'an. What I did instead, I showed you the variations in Surah number 25, Surah Furqan. Did I just make this up, the variations? No. These are in your mushafs, the Quran copies that you have, they're from there. They're there in Al-Bazzi's copy. They're there in the Duri copy, in the Susi copy. They're there in Ibn Kathir's copy. That's where they're from. That's where I've read it. If you were to bother to check, you'll find this exactly how this reading is in those manners, in this codices you can call it, or Quran mushafs as we call it. The bound Qurans. This is from there, so I didn't make it up. So now I would like you to now go back to the debate. Yes. Provide us evidence that there's more than 1 Quran, rather than saying, oh, there are many Qurans. If all the companions during the time of the Prophet all agreed what the Quran is, and they all agreed after the death of the Prophet what the Quran is, do we have any doubt what the Quran is left by the Prophet? Absolutely not. Because we get the Quran through the companions of the Prophet, which they agreed upon. If you now have the disciples of Jesus, they're all agreeing, this is what the gospel Jesus preached. You say no, Jesus did not preach this gospel, he preached something else, even though if you have a consensus of the disciples. It's quite rather silly, because when you have the students of the Prophet, his companions, his disciples, they all agreed what the Quran is, and you're saying the Quran is different. I find it strange to believe your reasoning. The Prophet taught them, and they all agreed. So the Quran that we read today, yes, they're all traced back directly to the Prophet ﷺ. And I will show examples of the chains of narrations of these readings all the way going back to the Prophet ﷺ in another section. What I want to ask now, Hatun, she doesn't need to check my Arabic. I am not an Arabic scholar, but I can do Arabic reading as I've demonstrated.
You can't translate it, no?
And I translated it. What I want you to do, come back to the debate and debate the subject.
So, Muslims are challenging my Arabic. Sadly, we just noticed Mansur does not know Arabic. He does not understand Arabic, and he does not able to translate it for us. He was not able to do that. So, this is my example again. This is my example, and a Muslim, Mansur confirmed that he cannot read it and translate it. This is a second example. I asked him to read it and translate it as it is written. Sadly, that is very well-known passage, yet he failed that. I'm going to show you how he failed that. I would love you to read this and then translate this for us. After that, I would love you to read this, green, underline green, and translate it for us. And then let me just give you the proper translation of what you read and failed to translate it to us from Arabic. Let me just read it for you.
She's going to do it now. She's the correct word, She's doing it now.
Here how it's supposed to be. That you don't worship anyone but him, and kindness to your parents. Won't they reach end for you? One of them or both of them. So don't say if to them and do not rebuke them, and say to them generous things or kindness things. That's not what you said. I asked you to read it and translate it as you read it. Sadly, you failed to do that. So, I've got two more examples for you to read it and translate it as they are written. Here is the thing. I can see your lovely Muslims are getting upset. I can see your lovely Muslims are getting upset and practicing little bit of Islam over that. Here's the thing. It's my turn.
So when do you want me to read it?
In your turn.
No.
Last time,
because you're asking me to read.
Last time in that case, my time needs to be paused.
If you want me to read, I'll read it in your time, not my time.
Sir, why are you being so child? Last time you read it in my time, and then you took over my time. So read them in your time. This time I gave you the time. So I am amazed that you are making a distinction between Musaf and Quran. Quran doesn't make that distinction. Quran does not make that distinction. You talked about the multiple recitations. Actually, you mean there were multiple versions of Arabic Quran exist at the time of Muhammad. Not the multiple recitations, multiple versions. Those versions were causing people to attack one another. I gave you another option for Surah 25. What is your objective to that? How can you be confident that is not what revealed to Muhammad? That is not what made Umar to disagree with Hisham, sorry. You are talking about the chains of transmission. We know as the Quran has been compiled, people were objecting what is compiled. Ubay bin Ka'b and Masud Hatun compiled. They were already different versions of the Quran. Even though you think chain goes back to Muhammad, yes, there are lovely, lovely, lovely list of names, but you have no idea what they have done. You don't know. So, and those, it's good. I wonder how Bart Ehrman would laugh at you when you tell him, oh, those are the chains. Those are, why are you cheating? Just a moment, why are you cheating? Why are you cheating, sir? Your brother should be able to know that. So, my time is up.
That's it, time. You can't read it, yeah?
So because she wants me to read to waste my time in the debate, in your time I will read, not in my time. So to continue, Bismillah ar-Rahman
Give you
ar-Rahim.
extra time.
We are seeing again what?
I'll give you extra 1 minute.
Then I will read.
Okay. Extra 1 minute, okay?
No, here.
So I want you to read it and translate
it. Allah, the most gracious.
As it is written.
Alif Lam Mim. Alif Lam Mim. These are letters. They don't have to be translated because they just don't have to have the meaning. ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين. This is indeed a book. There is no doubt about it. A guidance for those who fear Allah. الذين يؤمنون بالغيب. Those who believe in the unseen. ويقيمون الصلاة. And those who establish prayer. ومما رزقناهم ينفقون. And those who give out in charity what Allah has provided to them. والذين يؤمنون بما أنزل إليك. And those who believe in what has been revealed to you. وما أنزل من قبلك. And which was revealed to before you. وبالآخرة هم يوقنون. And they are of the hereafter certain. Now this is from the Quran, Surah Al-Fatiha. This one is from the Bible.
Surah
She
Baqarah.
asked me to read the Bible. Now, ونادى ملك الرب إبراهيم ثانية من السماء وقال بذات أقسمت يقول الرب. I don't think that is very eloquent Arabic anyway. أني من أجل أنك فعلت هذا الأمر ولم تطع ابنك وحيدك. Very, very, very bad. أباركك مباركة وأكثر نسلك تكثيرا كالنجوم السماء وكالرمان الذي على شاطئ البحر ويرث. I can't even read it because it's not very clear. نسألك باب أعدائه. That's the translated part.
Can you translate it for us?
Because this is a Bible.
Can you translate it for us?
This is not the debate. The debate
Can
is
you
on the
translate
Quran.
it for us?
You read one lesson. Now,
Can you translate it for us?
Jesus did not speak Arabic.
His time is up. Okay. Your 1 minute is up. So you are not going to translate it?
it's not again. My 1 minute is up.
Five, not the five.
It's not from five. So now, see it again? Now, to return to the debate. To return to the debate, we heard again Hisham and Umar. Keep dragging and dragging. I said the Quran was hard recited, and I recited the differences from the reading that's been transmitted to us. The reading that the Umar used to recite has been transmitted, and I gave his reading, and I compared with another reading not transmitted from Umar. So clearly I gave you the differences from Umar and from someone else, and you keep on saying, where are they? The example that you gave about Ubay bin Ka'ab and Ibn Masud objected. We want to see where is his objection, because our Islamic tradition very clearly says all of them eventually, including Ibn Masud, agreed with the Uthmanic compilation. All of them. There was no dispute afterwards. Initially, only one person, Abdullah bin Masud, he didn't want to hand over his Mus'haf. That's all, because he said, how am I going to, give up, recite my writing of the Mus'haf on someone, about Zayd bin Thabit, because he heard all of these 70 or so surah directly from the mouth of the Prophet ﷺ. He had his own personal notes within his Mus'haf. That was the reason he was reluctant. So what we want to now establish is Hatun, come back to the debate. Now, if you don't come back, I will get to the debate. Can you pause for a second? Let's get this book. Pause for a second.
Where are they? Are they coming?
pause? Some of them. I asked him to pause. He said some.
Don't worry, you can get more time. It's fine. Just talk.
So now, we are going to move on into this One Qur'an or 26 Qur'an business. Now, Hatun obviously didn't provide any examples. Now, these are all the chains of transmission of our Qur'an, all the way going back to the Prophet. We can go through in details later. There's no time to waste. We have them all. Every single reading that we have, the he mentions in 31 or 26 Qur'an, they all go back to the Prophet. Now, let us now give examples. I have here all 71 examples which I'm waiting to go through, which she is avoiding. First example, I'm going to start. This is the reading of Hafs and Duri. يَكْذِبُونَ and يُكَذِّبُونَ. What you need to understand is this. If you see both of the reading with a dotless text, it's the same text. Same text. You can read. You can read both of the reading here. وَلَهُمْ عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ بِمَا كَانُوا يَكْذِبُونَ or يُكَذِّبُونَ.
Which one the Quran?
Right, both of them.
Two Quran.
Yeah.
Two Quran.
Second example, نَغْفِرُ and يُغْفَرُ. Guess what? It's the same consonantal text. Same text. You can read وَقُولُوا حِتَّةٍ نَغْفِرْ لَكُمْ خَطَايَاكُمْ وَيَغْفِرْ لَكُمْ. The same text.
What does it mean?
You can read.
What does it mean?
It's there already.
What is it? Tell us. Tell us the meaning.
And اتخذوا. Same Arabic, Usmanic, consonantal text. For example, Miskin and Masakin. You can read this here. فِدَّةُ طَعَامِ مِسْكِين وَطَعَامُ مَسَكِين. Same text.
What does it mean, sir? Tell us the
We'll
meaning.
come back later. Haf and Al-Warsh. Between Daf'un and Difa'un. It is the same Arabic text. Same one consonantal text. So how many Qur'an so far? It's the same one Qur'an, which can be read. Same one Qur'an that can be read in different readings. The next one. كفلها كفلها. Same Arabic text. وكفلها وكفلها. You can read both of the readings in the one same consonantal text. Next example. تعلمون and تعلمون. Same consonantal text. You can read both the readings in the Usmanic text. Next one.
Which one?
يبغون and تبغون. It is the same consonantal text. So we have Quran so far, one text read
Okay,
in
it's
different
my turn.
ways.
Thank you. Thank you.
Alhamdulillah
Thank you.
Rabbil Alameen.
You haven't told us the meaning.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Claim is comes from Muslims. As Muslims disagree with their prophet, as Muslims disagree with their first, fourthly right guided caliphs, to make a point that there is only one Quran and not even a dot change. Muslims, you've been telling lies. You've been telling lies. And you've been telling lies. You are disagreeing with Muhammad while he clearly says Quran has been revealed to me in 7 different ways. While people reciting the Quran, they are disagreeing with one another, which is the perfect, correct Quran. Yet in 2017, you make a claim that you know much better than Allah, you know much better than Muhammad, and you are telling us not even a dot changed and there is only one perfect Quran. Here's my proposal for you. I teach maths. Please do come to my maths class, which will help you to get on the countings. But here's the thing. Since Mansur has failed to prove us that he can speak Arabic, he can understand Arabic, and then he can translate Arabic. So you are not authority in Arabic. That's good. You can just look at the graphs and then comment on them. Because as a Muslim missionary who has been in the corner for over 20 years, you don't even know Arabic. You cannot even translate it to Well done, you've done that because you memorized that. But I ask you to read something from the Bible. You fail to do it. You fail to do it. You fail to translate it. Yet now still you say there is only one perfect Quran. Here's the problem. Here's the problem. Can you please provide sources for me? Ubay bin Ka'b and Mansur are agreeing with the Uthman's Quran. Ubay bin Ka'b himself says, I'm not gonna leave my Quran. I'm not gonna give my Quran. Mansur has the same thing. Tradition tells us there is only 111 surahs in Ibn Masud's copy. There is 116 surahs in Ubay bin Ka'b's Quran. There is already 3 Qurans. If you can count 1 plus 1 makes 3. Uthman's Quran plus Ubay bin Ka'b's Quran plus Ibn Masud's Quran makes 3 Qurans already. Yet, Quran revealed to Muhammad in 7 different ways. They were different from one another. Yes. Why did you not accept the translation I give it to you for Surah 25? Again, it is just the dots are moved. Remember, at the time of Muhammad, you did not have the dots. So, now, let's look at the variations you give it to. Since it looks like you are failing to just respond to my questions, let's move on to your things. And you confirm that there are 100% of the Quran contains textual variation. 100% of the Quran. Remember, at the time of Muhammad, Quran did not have the dots. That would be the Quran, which people write it down. It has no dots. Consonantal letters do not have any dots. Quran contains 100% variations from the Uthman's Quran. Quran contains 100% textual variations from the Uthman's Quran. Let's do very basic Arabic. I noticed that you don't speak Arabic, you don't understand Arabic, but your maths is not very good. But let's do very basic Arabic. Okay, I can't do that. It's your time is now. I don't have enough time, so
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
I'm gonna.
Did we see where Ubay bin Ka'b or Abdullah bin Mansur disagree? No evidence provided. This debate should be based on evidence, not your claims, wishful thinking. Provide your evidence and I can talk. Now, I've been asking for how long? 3 examples of differences between the worst Qur'ans. Out of your 26, or there is 1 Qur'an you have at home. 3 examples of difference between the worst Qur'an and the house Qur'an. Have you had any? Those of you on the paper, have you ticked those? Have you provided 1 example yet? No, you haven't. So you need to provide examples. You need to provide examples of the differences between the Hafs Qur'an, because that's what we're saying. If you can provide the differences, then you can say dots have changed, vowels have changed, the words have changed. You need to do that, which you have failed in your own words. Failed to provide an example. Now, you kept saying, I don't know Arabic. So what? The debate is about, is the Quran one or many? Even you, without knowing Arabic, you came to debate the subject. And you don't give me the right to debate. Well, you don't know Arabic and you can still debate it. Shame, shame, shame. Now, you are keeping talking about what? Muslims are telling lies. Muslims are not telling lies. Muslim scholarship have always said the Quran has been revealed in this way, and they've always been taught. There are Quran schools all over the world who are teaching these qira'at, 10 different readings. I am learning from one of them who has certificate in more than 1 reading. Not unusual. It's there even in London. So you are telling lies, the Muslims. You keep your reading list so small. You go to Zakir Naik and you go to Sheikh Ahmed Didat and you think that's it. instead of bothering to go to Islamic scholarship. What Islamic scholarship have to say about what we believe as the Quran is? So now, you said my translation, I did not correct it. Your translation was awful. Awful. You asked me to go to your math class. I suggest you take some English lessons. So now, to move on to the debate, because what we're doing like all the time as usual, we are beating around the bush. So now I'm going to continue. My next example. Can you hold on? Can you pause for a second? 2:23.
No, just go.
Why pause?
Just go.
Pause. I'm going to get something out, so pause for a second, please.
I put on YouTube, it's going to be around the sword destroys
Can you?
Come up from the rewind that. I'm going to be
Surah
very
2 verse
careful.
10.
So now let's move on.
You did
next example.
383. You did 383.
We did kafalaha.
You did 383.
Alimun 383.
Yeah, you've done that.
Between qatala and qutila. If you look at it, it's the same consonantal skeleton. You can read the both of the readings from the same text. Next one, qatalu and qutilu. Again, same consonantal text. You can read the both readings. As you demonstrate, it was done without any dots. And without the dots, you can read both of these readings. So far, still the same one Qur'an, even though in various multiple recitations or readings. Next example. Qiyaman and qiyaman. Again, same consonantal text without any vowels. Same one Qur'an. Next one. 413. Yudkhilu and nudkhilu. Again, same consonantal text. You can read the both readings. So how many Quranic texts so far we have seen? One text of the Quran. Same Quran read within this Uthmanic graphic form in different ways. But I'm not saying, I already stated, there are other graphic forms Uthman sanctioned and sent, which is slightly different. But so far, all the examples chronologically, out of your 71, it's the same text. So now, Hatun, you in your next segment, God willing, will provide one extra ayah out of this 31 Quran or one less ayah. One extra surah or one less surah within this 31 Quran. It's your turn.
Okay.
Get the parents
I
to help you. Get Jesus to
I am amazed. I am amazed again. Mansur makes a claim there is one Quran while his prophet is disagreeing with him, while Allah is disagreeing with him, while the first companions of Muhammad was disagreeing with him. Here is what lovely Ubay bin Ka'b tells us. Ubay was the best of us in the recitation, yet we live some of what he recites. Ubay himself says, I have taken it from the mouth of Allah's apostle and will not live for anything whatever. I will not live for anything whatever. Yet he had 116 chapters in his Quran. 116 chapters in the Quran. Current Quran is 114 chapters. Let's do practice. Let's do maths. 116 take away 114. How many? What is left? 2. So he has extra chapters which Muslims are not reciting today. Which Muslims are reciting today, not reciting today. Why? Why? Thank you for confirming. difference in it. I know that. And thanks for sharing that with other Muslims. We really appreciate that. Mansur's Quran contains 111 chapters. How many chapters in the current Quran? 114. Take away 111, 3 left. So 3 chapters you are reading extra is not Ibn Masud's Quran. 2 chapters Ubay ibn Ka'b, who is the best of recitations and who Muhammad told you to take the Quran from, recite 2 extra chapters, yet the current Quran you are reading is not there. So that's already shows us 3 different Qurans. Name of the chapters from Ubay ibn Ka'b is the Al-Haf and Al-Qaf. You talk about the Qurans, and then you went through the Hafs Quran, and then compare them. Thank you for helping me to make a point. Quran contains 1000% of variations, 1000% of textual variations. Ubay, in the time of Muhammad, consonantal letters of the Arabs did not have the dots. They did not have the dots. Let me show you what I mean. Arabic alphabet at the time of Muhammad. Okay. Arabic alphabet at the time of us today. Can you see how many Arabic letter has the dots? Lots of that. Lots of that. So this is dal, letter dal. Without dots, it was at the time of Muhammad. 2017, miracle. It multiplied. Now it is 2 different letters. It is 2 different letters. Another letter, another consonantal letter in Arabic. Ayn. Miracle happens again in Islam when you add the dots in this consonantal letters. It adds 2 different letters. At the time of Muhammad, they did not have the dots. No, it ended up being 2 different letters. Another letter, consonantal letter, at the time of Muhammad, it did not have the dots. Miracle happens, suddenly it appears in 2 different letters with the dots. And then another one, Ra, at the time of Muhammad, miracle happens, it has 2 letters, one of them has dot. For you to today stand here and then... No, I'm listening. Sir, I'm listening. That's your people. I'm listening. I'm listening.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So now, finally, we heard Hatun giving 3 examples of the difference between Hafs and Warsh. Praise be to God. Hatun did it. She provided zilch example of the difference between Hafs and Warsh, not between the Hafs and the Hafs and the Warsh and the Warsh. Thank you so much, Hatun. Thank you so much for providing an extra ayah out of this 31 mushafs. Yes, Omo, or extra surah. Yes, Omo. I thank you again from the bottom of my heart. I don't have a bottom anyway. My heart doesn't have a bottom. That's what I mean. Now, you talk about Ibn Mas'ud, and you talk about... You want to carry on with the rain?
I'm listening.
You want to carry on with the rain? You talk about how...
Do you want a file?
Ibn Mas'ud and Ubay ibn Ka'b. Right? What you don't realize is this. The Quran that we have is the consensus of the companions. as I see that we bring the people on a single mushaf, so that there is neither division nor discord, and all of them, they said, an excellent proposal.
What is the source?
This is in Ibn Abi Dawood, in Kitab al-Masahif.
Okay, it's not one of the
Page
hadith.
22. The book that
It's
you
not
love,
one of the
that is
hadith.
the book that you so much love to quote. There are other references. Now, so the Quran that we have is a consensus of all the companions. And that's the Quran that we read today. The Quran collectively agreed by the companions is the Quran of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the same Quran. Now, you again, purposely avoided examples of our Quran, which you so love to talk about, being so many different Qurans, and you fail to even deal with one of them. I am refuting you, debunking your claim that there are more than one Quran. How do I do that? I go to the two examples that you quote, and I go to the Uthmanic skeleton, how it has been written, and you can see it's the same one text. Meaning what? One Qur'an. If you can't get this in your maths class, you need to go to some other class. That's what I have to say. Now, Ibn Mas'ud, do you not realize Ubay bin Ka'b and Ibn Mas'ud? Ubay bin Ka'b himself was in the committee writing the Mus'haf. And Ubay bin Ka'b and Ibn Mas'ud, both of them are the teachers from which we get the 10 readings. How many times have you repeated? Right. So, when we now see the Prophet, when we now see an example that you quote, oh, Ubay bin Ka'b said this. Who is the greatest authority? Him or the Prophet? The Prophet. The Prophet. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us the first surah to recite is Surah Al-Fatiha, surah number 1. And he also taught us Surah 113 and 114, which was not in his Mus'haf. So who should we now give Quran to? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Are you now going to say, I'm going to abandon the teaching of my Prophet and take the teaching of Ubay bin Ka'b or Ibn Mas'ud, even though you misunderstand what they have said? In fact, we also have, from the 1st century of manuscripts, Surah Al-Fatiha from the Sana manuscript, Surah Al-Fatiha and Surah Al-Falaq al-Nas from the manuscripts, long before your traditions were compiled. You get these traditions, there are differences, right? From Kitab al-Masahif ibn Abu Dawud and so on. I have provided you now documentary evidence, long before they were born, from Quranic manuscripts which contain Surah 1, 113 and 114. You are debunked so badly, Hatun. Now, in terms of Ubay bin Ka'b and Ibn Mas'ud, again in their chapters, do you know what Ibn Mas'ud said about Surah Al-Fatiha? He said, if I were to write Surah Al-Fatiha, I would write it in front of every single surah. Does that mean he considered this was not part of his Quran? Of course not. He never denied it, because he's the one who taught us in one of the Qur'ans. Not only this, we have Arthur Jeffrey himself, in his materials for the textual edition of the Quran, giving variants in chapter 1, Ibn Mas'ud's Quran. How is that possible if he did not have chapter 1 in his Mus'haf?
So, thank you very much once again confirming that Quran has been changed and corrupted. Thank you very much for confirming Quran contains many textual variations. Thank you very much for confirming that written Quran has been changed. Here's the thing. Ubay ibn Ka'b and Ibn Mas'ud was not in the committee of the compiling the Quran. They were not. You talked about the Quran which Ubay ibn Ka'b was reciting. Ubay ibn Ka'b is the best of recitators, yet Surah 115 and Surah 116 is not in the Quran. Surah 116, Quran. Ibn Masud, he didn't have the last two chapters. So, last two chapters. Who do you go to? Who do you go to? You must go to Muhammad. But sadly, Muhammad had very bad memory. Sadly, we've got non-complete Quran from the time of Muhammad. Sadly, we've got none of the Quran, which is exactly the same the Quran we are reading today. Here's the thing. You are talking about the Hafs Quran and you are talking about the readings. How can they go back to Muhammad while you've got non-written things? You've got bunch of names. It's lovely that you've got those bunch of names. You know much better than me, Sana does not go back to Muhammad. You know much better than me, they are not complete. And you know much better than me, it is not exactly the same. Remember, claim is this. There is only one perfect Quran and not even a dot changed. Your lovely scholar Yusuf Ali, if you didn't like Zakir Naik, if you didn't like Ahmed Didat, and if you don't like what you said, even Yusuf Ali confirms that there were lots of variations, differences in the Quran of Ubay bin Ka'b. Here's the thing. I have got 31 different Arabic Qurans, and all of them are different from the Quran of Uthman. All of them are different from the Quran of Abu Bakr. All of them are different from the Quran of Muhammad. 31 different Arabic Qurans. Remember, at the time of Muhammad, they did not have the dots. At the time of Uthman, they did not have the dots, consonantal letters. Since you confirm to us that you do not understand Arabic, you do not speak Arabic, you cannot translate Arabic, you are like me. You look at the graphs and then you see there are the variations. You look at the graph of Surah Hatun, verse 100, Surah 2 and verse 10, you see the original graph has not even one dot. Yet the Quran you are reading today contains many dots. But you don't need to be Einstein. When you look at the graph, you see there are variations in it. And those variations change the meaning. So it confirms, as Muslim claims, there was one and only perfect Quran, not even a dot change. Muhammad discredits them. Abu Bakr discredits that. Umar discredits that. Uthman discredits that. And even your graphs, the graphs you showed it to us, discredit that there is one perfect Quran. I end up having 31 different Arabic Qurans. It is not surprising. Look at the dates of those readings. When those readings, those your 10 official readings, when they have been officialized. What Muhammad had to do with them? Did Muhammad even see them? No, of course not. Muhammad was dead 200 years by the time they are compiled. By the time they took current form. So, here's the thing. Ubay bin Ka'b, Ibn Masud, their Quran were disagreeing with one another. That makes different Quran from the Quran of Muhammad. The Qurans I have, they are different from the Quran Muhammad Uthman had.
Can we have... If you have another debate, turn your camera down. You want this debate? Keep listening. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you. So I thank again Hatun for providing an extra chapter, extra surah in the 31 Qurans. No, I don't thank her. I take my thanks back because you do not have an extra chapter in any of those 31 Qurans. You do not have an extra verse, more or less, in your 31 Qurans. That was the debate. What you are telling me, without any documentary evidence that you can see of the Quran, you have tradition, Islamic Muslim brothers, Islamic traditions, which talks about this. And our same Islamic traditions talks about how the Quran was collectively compiled by all the consensus of the Muslims. And they were transmitted by Ibn Mansur and by Ibn Ka'b, which you keep forgetting, keep ignoring. The readings are from them, our readings are from them. Don't you realize, Hatun? Now, you talk about Ubay bin Ka'b had 115 and 116, 2 extra chapters. What you don't realize is this: the report that talks about these assurers are not acceptable. These are isolated reports compared to the mutawatir mass transmitted reports, compared to the mass consensus of Islamic scholarship. We don't take isolated reports. These reports are deemed inauthentic because of their contradiction to mutawatir reports. This is an established rule in hadith science. If you want to learn about hadith and a tradition, I guess you start with a simple basic text. Now, why did he write? Of course, he would write because the Prophet taught these surahs as a special chapter. When ward of evil, shayateen, the Prophet taught these two. I'm sorry, I'm talking about the Mu'adh time. But during the examples of Ubay bin Ka'b, these examples are different. What I was meant to say is Ubay bin Ka'b has the qunut that was Prophet recited and taught that we read in our qunut, in our witr prayers. He wrote them down in his mushaf, like many other companions did. Their personal additions, their personal notes, personal commentaries, the personal exegesis in the Quran. And we find, excuse me, brother, excuse me.
No, sir, you have to ignore it. Sir, you have to ignore it. You have to learn. You can't stop the time, sorry. You can't stop the time. You have to learn to ignore them.
You're disturbing. So you either listen.
Mansur is fine. Just go. Just go. I'm listening.
Because it's disturbing to talk over someone who's talking.
You respect that one.
Thank you.
They're disturbing me.
Yeah, so come over this side.
Yeah, go over there, please.
Thank you. My times keep running. By giving
It was your time. You needed to talk. That was fine.
Be fair, right? I just interrupted him so that we can continue in a discussion. You can
When I speak, people speak over me as well. I continue, Mansur.
Be a fair debater. So now, as I was saying, this qunut was taught by the Prophet ﷺ. Why? People were writing in their mushaf because they were writing it in their own personal copies. Many companions wrote it. Even we know now in the undertext, the inferior text of Sana, people would write these things. People will write it within the text itself. Now this text says in Surah between, it says what? Surah Al-Bara'ah, right? Now, he finished this surah and says, La taqul bismillah. He crossed off bismillah and the same Quranic text, he says, La taqul bismillah and start the surah again. Now, La taqul bismillah, do not say bismillah, is not part of the Quran. It is his personal note within the Quranic text. If you read another inferior text within the Sana manuscript, they say, Hadi nihayat of surah, this is the end of this chapter within the same Quranic text. They were writing their notes. They didn't have to write in the margin because it was their personal copy. So when in Codex Sinaiticus,
There is a package. Can you give that to her?
in Codex Sinaiticus, we have the letter to Barnabas and Shepherd of Hermas within the same manuscript. You're not going to say, oh, this is part of the biblical canon. This is an extra writing that is within this book. If you're now going to be consistent, you have to accept that that was the biblical canon. Brother.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. So, my turn. Thank you. So, you are asking me to provide extra verse and extra chapters. I have. Ubay bin Ka'b confirmed. Ubay bin Ka'b's Quran has extra chapters. Ibn Masud's Quran has extra chapters. Author Jeffrey, who you give us the quotation tradition and confirm what he says, confirms that as well. He confirms that as well. You talked about they are the personal copies for Ubay bin Ka'b. Where did you get that from? Where does Ubay bin Ka'b says, guys, this is my personal copy? Those 2 chapters are actually not part of the Quran, lovely Muslims, are not part of the Quran, but they are my personal copies. Where does Muhammad say that to Ubay bin Ka'b? Nowhere. It's amazing. Muhammad never says that. But your scholars, and you know much better than that, Ibn Abbas says actually we don't know if this is part of the Quran or not part of the Quran. Your Islamic tradition tells us verses are eaten by sheep. Your Islamic tradition tells us those verses are missing altogether. 568 verses are missing. So you are asking me to provide extra chapters or less chapters. People provided you in the early century of Islam. You ignored it. You ignored it. Why are you asking me right now? The Qurans we have in our possessions are sadly, it is very sad for Muslims, disagree with the Uthman's Quran. It disagrees with Hafs Quran in 59,664 variations. 59,664 variations. They are not 1 apple or 2 apple. 59,664. You are talking about, because Uthmanic text did not have the dots, therefore those are okay. Actually, no, that's not okay. You are just looking at the graph and then saying those are all consonantal. No, Arabic alphabet, I'm sorry to tell you that, but your Arabic alphabet, your consonantal letters contains dots. Arabic consonantal letters contain dots. You should have known that by now. Just you cannot look at the graph and say, oh, that's all right, because that doesn't have dot. Yes, this have dot. And those dots change the meaning of the word. Claim is there is only one perfect Quran, not even dot changed. You didn't like Zakir Naik, you didn't like your Ahmed Didat, you didn't like yourself when you made a claim that not even a dot changed. Let me give you some Muslim scholars. Yusuf Ali says same thing, Fethullah Gülen says same thing, and there are lots of other Muslims say the same thing. Yusuf Ali in the Quran, the current Quran you are reading, confirms that Ubay bin Ka'b's Quran was theologically different from the Quran Muslims are reciting today. That is different from the Quran Muslims are reciting today. Can you please just answer my basic questions, which you have not done so? So, I would love you to give me the dates for the readings, and they have been officialized. Dates for the readings and when they have been officialized. How come miracle happened in Islam? How come miracle happened and Muhammad confirmed the Hafs Quran? How come miracle happened and Muhammad confirmed the Warsh Quran? Muhammad was dead for nearly 200 years by the time Muslim says this goes back to Muhammad. No, Hafs never met Muhammad. Muhammad never met Hafs. They never met. Can you please tell me why do you believe Hafs Quran is reliable? Can you please tell me what is the teacher of Hafs wrote it down that you are sure that is exactly the Hafs Quran? There was another point you made it. Sorry, I can't remember. There was another point. Oh, sorry, I remember.